Hello students, in the previous class we close pack structures, packing efficiency and voids. Today we are going to discuss about electrical properties. So here, what are electrical properties? In the name itself we are saying electrical. Means what here? Which will show the electric current. That one we call it as electrical properties. So coming to here, based on the electrical properties, the solids are classified into three types, that is first one is conductors, second one insulators, and third one semiconductors. So now let us see here what is conductors or metals. Okay, so what is conductors or metals? So if the solid, if you are taking anything, any element, anything, if you are taking, it should be metal. Means which type of characteristics it should have, means here to become a metal, it should have good conductor of electricity, okay, and also thermal conductivity it should have, and also it should have malleability and ductility, rigidity is nothing but which is hard in nature, and also it should have sharp melting and boiling points. I have told you malleability and ductility. Malleability is nothing but what? Which is cut into thin sheet. Ductility is nothing but which is cut into thin wires. Okay, so these type of characters the metal should have, and we are saying that here conductors, and in this conductor these are good conductors of electricity, as the electrons can move freely without much resistance from valence band to conduction band. So then what is valence band and what is conduction? What is a band here? A group of electrons. So here I have taken a crystal. In downward we are having valence band. Okay. In upward this is a middle, and in upward direction we are having what here? In upward direction we are having conduction band. So now what I am saying here, conductors is nothing but here they are good conductors of electricity, as the electrons can move freely without much resistance from valence band to conductor. So for example, valence band means what here? Which are present outside of the electrons. For example, if you take sodium Na plus, if you take Na plus, what is the atomic number of sodium? 23. So if plus we are saying no 22. So when you write the electronic configuration, what you are getting? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, okay, and 4s2, then 4p2. Two electrons, whatever it is there, they can travel. Two electrons, outermost electrons, whatever it is there, it can easily travel from one place to another place. So means what? The conduction band. Conduction means what here? Which will flow the electrons. So the electrons can flow from here to here easily without any band gap. So then whenever the electrons are traveling from plus charge to minus charge, so it is plus charge and it is minus charge, the electrons, so they can easily flow. Then if you compare plus and minus only, you will be getting current. So whenever the electrons are easily flowing, then automatically what we can say here, there will be production of current. The current will can easily flow. So this is nothing but conductors. So the conductivity value, the value between is in the order of 10 to the power 3 to 10 power 8 ohm inverse centimeter inverse at room temperature we can say. Okay, the order of the conductivity value is here 10 cube to 10 power 8. So what are the examples we are going to take here? TiO, titanium oxide, vanadium oxide, chromium trioxide, these all are behave like metals. Why? Because all D block elements we are saying what here? All D block elements are metals. So that's why I have taken here all D block elements act as a metals. So now let us see next one. The next one indicates what here? Insulators. What is next one we are having? Insulators are non-semiconductors. So insulators are non-semiconductors. So here non-conductors is nothing but what here? Which do not allow current easily. That one we call it as non-conductors. Why? Because here we are taking valence band and conduction band. Okay, So here what we are having, this is a valence band, this is a conduction band. So for this, the gap whatever it is present, that one we call it as forbidden energy gap. What we can say here, the gap present between valence band and conduction band, we call it as what here, forbidden energy gap. Okay, so the gap here whatever it is present, that there will be large energy difference between these two bands. The valence band and conduction band is having very large gap, energy gap. So then the electrons cannot move freely. So because of that, what happens, whenever the electrons cannot move freely, automatically the current will not flow here. If it will flow also, very minute current it will produce. So that one we call it as, for example, general example I want to say here, you take wood. Okay, if you take wood, what happens, the wood cannot pass the current. Why? Because there will be band gap will be very less there. Okay, band gap will be very more, energy gap. And also if you take shoe, plastic, rubber, whatever elements you take, they are not going to produce a current. Why? Because they are not metals, right? Because of the no metallic character, and they are just the natural things. So because of that, what happens, it is not going to produce any current. So then what happens, the conductivity value, what is the order we are going to have, 10 to the power minus 10 to 10 to the power minus 22 we are going to have, very low we are going to get the current. Examples, general examples what we can take here, diamond, phosphorus, sulfur, wood, rubber, plastic. So these are the examples. If you take, there is no producing of current. So this is nothing but insulators or non-conductors. So now let us see semiconductors. So the semiconductors here, so it is a intermediate between insulators and also conductors. It will show current as well as it will not show current also. Both things it will happen for this one. How this is going to happen, let us discuss. So first of all, let us see what is semiconductors. The semiconductors is nothing but the solids which are intermediate between the metals and insulators. We call it as what here, semiconductors. Means it will show very, means compared to insulators it will show current, compared to conductors it will show very less current. Okay, that's why we say it is a intermediate range. So the range of this one is 10 power minus 6 to 10 power minus 22. Here the conductivity of solid increases with increase in temperature. Whenever you increase the temperature, automatically what happens, the conductivity also increases. Now if you take conduction band and valence band, so this is the conduction band, this is the valence band. So if you observe here, the energy gap between these consists of very small, okay, very small energy gap we are going to have. So because of that reason, what we can say, it can give current. Okay, for conductors the energy gap is very low, because of that only we are going to produce the current. So in this we are consist of intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. What is intrinsic? In the name itself it is showing intrinsic means inside of that material only it is going to produce current. Extrinsic means if you bring outside elements, that one it is going to not produce current. Okay, so now let us discuss intrinsic semiconductors. So intrinsic semiconductors means what? Pure semiconductors, we call it as what here? Intrinsic semiconductors. So example what we are taking here, silicon and germanium. Observe here, we are taking the metals like silicon and germanium. We are not adding any other element of these two, okay, which is a 13th group element. Silicon and germanium is a 13th group element. So we are not adding here any elements. Okay, so coming to here, sorry, silicon and germanium is a 14th group element. Okay, we are not adding here any elements. So by this what we can say, these are pure metals. Because of pure metals can give current now, so intrinsic semiconductors can produce easily current. Now let us discuss extrinsic semiconductors. So what is extrinsic semiconductors? So extrinsic semiconductors is nothing but impure semiconductors. We call it as extrinsic, means impure metals. We call it as what here? Extrinsic semiconductors. So here we are going to, before going to this, we should know what is a doping. The doping is nothing but what here? In which a small amount of impurity is added to a crystal is called doping. For example, I take a hot water. When you're boiling the hot water, what happens? The hot water is pure without any chemicals, any insects inside. Okay, if you add any reagent to that, so then what happens? If you add any reagent, there will be some of the chemicals is producing, and also some pesticides is going to produce. Then what happens? The compound whatever you are taking, it is spoiling. So because of that, what we can say here? Because of that, we can say it is a doping. Means what here? The process in which the small amount of impurity is added to a crystal, we call it as doping here. So here the semiconductor, the conductivity of semiconductor increases due to doping only. This is nothing but doping. For example, let us discuss. Here we are having two types, that is n-type semiconductors and p-type semiconductors. So see here, n-type semiconductors. This silicon or germanium is doped with a pentavalent atoms like phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. So means what here? Silicon and germanium is a 14th group or 4 group elements. Pentavalence means what? Phosphorus, arsenic, antimony is a 15th group or 5-year group elements. So when it is overlapping with each other, there is a extra electron. What is the valency of this 14th group? 4 is the valency, and 15th group we are having 5 is the valency. Let us take for example carbon. Carbon is having what here? Carbon is having, so see here, carbon is atomic number is 6, the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So what is the valency here? 4. If you take nitrogen, which is having this 7 is the electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So what is the outermost electrons? Valence electrons 5. Okay, so now these 4 electrons and these 5 electrons overlapping with each other. When they are overlapping, so this carbon is having which shape here? Tetrahedral shape. So this is the shape of tetrahedral. Okay, so but nitrogen is having what? Pentagonal pyramidal shape. So means what here? It is having 5 electrons now. It is giving 4 electrons. These 4 from conduction band. See here, the valence electron of 4 electrons and conduction band of 5 electrons it is having. Already these 4 electrons are overlapping with each other. But there is a 1 extra electron present, right? Out of 5, 4 is combining. Still 1 electron is present now. This 1 electron will produce the current in the n-type semiconductors. And coming to next type, p-type semiconductors. So if you have been observed p-type semiconductors, this one, the 14th group elements, that is silicon, is going to dope with 3rd group element. For example, boron, if you take, the atomic number is 5, the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So the outermost electron, how many we are having? 3. Here for this we are having 4. Means what? The 3 electrons is combining, overlapping with 4 electrons. But here it is having 4 valence electron, it is having only 3 electrons. So whenever it goes, then what happens? 1 electron is incomplete. Then what we can say? There will be a hole producing to the electrons. Why? Because there is no electrons. So see here, it is giving 3 electrons to the conduction band. Then what happens? Whenever the electrons are leaving, it is producing some of the holes. When these holes will combine with conduction band to produce the electronic current, means they will attract the opposite charge of the electrons to produce the current. We call it as what here? P-type semiconductors are formed. Now let us look at the diagram here, a general diagram. So here this is a perfect crystal silicon atom we are taking. And here if you have been seen, this is a n-type semiconductors. Okay, so why? Because when these are overlapping, there will be a arsenic is producing going to here arsenic. Arsenic is producing, the extra electron is present over between the silicon atom, so this is producing current. Okay, if you have been seen here, there is a hole producing, no electron present over there. This hole is going to attract these electrons and it is producing what here? p-type semiconductors. So this is nothing but semiconductors of p-type and n-type. Okay, so now let us go to next topic here, that is magnetic properties. So magnetic properties, as we all know, the magnet, we are going to play with magnets. Okay, so depending upon the magnetic field, some of the materials are classified into different types. Solids, metals, generally metals we can take. If you take metals, solid crystals, they behave like magnets. So these magnetic properties are divided into four types, that is diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, ferromagnetic materials, antiferromagnetic materials. So coming to diamagnetic materials, so these are weakly repelled by magnetic field. So means what here? Generally if you take a pin, okay, a safety pin, if you have been taken, then what happens? That safety pin, if you play with magnet, sometimes it will also behave like a magnet. And if you take a nail, nail also will behave, if you play with that, sometimes after some time what happens? It also going to behave like a magnet. So those type of things we call it as what here? Diamagnetic. Weakly repelled by magnetic field, we call it as what here? Diamagnetic. These are completely associated with filled electrons, means the electrons, filled electrons, whatever it is there, it is going to completely fill that one. Example, we can take it as zirconium, titanium, alkali metals and inert gases. So all type of metals we can take it as a diamagnetic material. So what is diamagnetic materials? Which are weakly repelled by a magnetic field. Coming to paramagnetic, so these are not repelled, means these are weakly attracted, very less amount only. For example, if you take wood, it is not going to act as a magnet. So those type of things we call it as paramagnetic materials. So these are having unpaired electrons. So unpaired electrons means here completely filled electrons is nothing but what? For example, Zn plus 2 if you take. So if you take the electronic configuration, we are having what here? Zinc is having atomic number 30. If you write electronic configuration, plus 2 is the loss of 2 electrons, then it is having 18. If you split into d orbitals, d is having 5 orbitals. So here how many electrons we are having completely filled? Electrons we are getting, means it is a diamagnetic. Coming to unpaired electrons, for example, if you have been taken nitrogen, it is having 7. If you take p orbital, we are having only 2 electrons, 3 electrons of the outermost electron. So here 1 electron only we are having. See, once again I will explain clearly. So nitrogen, you are having the 7 is the configuration, is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Now you write the orbitals. The p is divided into 3 subshells. If you write electron 1, 2, 3. So the electrons are only one paired, means they are having unpaired electrons now. Because of this, what we can say? It is a paramagnetic. And here we are going to have what here? Here we are going to have the examples: oxygen, copper, Cu plus 2, VO2, NO, Na plus. So these are the examples we can take. So these are paramagnetic materials. Now let us see ferromagnetic and antiferro and ferri. Ferromagnetic materials means what? This is strongly attracted by magnetic field, like diamagnetic substances we can say, which will also behave like a magnet. Example, iron, if you take, after some time it will behave like a magnet. Cobalt, nickel, chromium, they are permanently magnetized. If you play with them, automatically they also will get magnet, they also will get magnetic behavior. Those type of things what we can say? Ferromagnetic materials, because of this strong attraction. In solid state, what we can say? The metal ions of ferromagnetic substances are grouped together into small regions. We call it as what here? Domains. Okay, what is domain here? The ferromagnetic substances are grouped together like this. They are going to group a group, it is going to form in a very small region. That one we call it as what here? Domains. Then coming to antiferromagnetic substances. Antiferromagnetic substances means they are not going to produce a magnetic behavior. Means the domains whatever we are producing, it is going to cancel each other with magnetic moment. Means what happens here? What is oppositely oriented plus minus, what will get? They will get cancelled. Okay, they will become neutral. Those type of things what we can get called antiferromagnetic materials. Example we are going to take here is what? Manganese oxide, MnO2 dioxide, nickel oxide, manganese trioxide. These are the examples we can take. Coming to ferrimagnetic materials, what we can take here? The alignment of magnetic moment are parallel or anti-parallel in equal number with net magnetic moment. We call it as ferrimagnetic. Means what here? This is a parallel direction, this is a anti-parallel direction. So which is in unequal number, they are not going to have the equal number. So those type of things we call it as ferrimagnetic materials. Example, Fe3O4 and Fe2O4 we are going to take. Let us see the diagram here. Paramagnetic and ferromagnetic, antiferro, ferrimagnetic. So this is the paramagnetic diagram. So see here, there are unpaired electrons is present. So because of the paired electrons, all is in same direction, it is producing magnetic behavior. So this antiferro means what here? Anti-parallel direction. And coming to these all also, which is not in equal direction. Okay, so this is nothing but what here? And ferrimagnetic. So this is nothing but magnetic and electrical properties. Thank you.